Now, the wealthy have time.
Mm-hmm.
They have the means to
Right.
wait. The majority of the population don't have that means.
Yeah.
So we talked about buying things when they're lower
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to higher. Not to say you can time the market or time anything.
Yeah,
that's
it's never
happening.
gonna work out. Yeah.
It's like, when I say the market, I'm talking about just in general.
Yeah.
We live in America, so everything's a marketplace.
Mhm.
You have buyers and sellers,
For sure.
right? So you can't wait for the real estate bubble to pop.
No,
You see
hindsight's
those-
always 2020.
exactly like, oh, that was the bubble like 6 years
Absolutely.
ago. That's
People that
crazy.
people that bought the houses in 06, 07, they thought they were
Exactly.
overpaying.
Correct.
Now they're
Hindsight.
yeah.
Right. My interest rate is 7%. My
Yeah.
brother's 3.2 and he lives across the street. Don't worry about him, man.
Doesn't matter.
The way we can alleviate that is astute planning,
Mm-hmm.
not paying attention.
Right.
Right. You have to keep receipts. You have to keep your spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stay diligent on what you're spending
Mm-hmm.
because your spending power is essentially your savings power.
Right.
So we talked about that A and B. If you prefer to spend,
Mm-hmm.
you have less to save. And if you want to have more for down the road, it's a percentage of how much you save.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. It's not complex. It's math. And that's why I like math, because math is like,
It doesn't lie. It doesn't lie.
Indisputable.
Yeah. There's nothing. There's no debatable.
Right.
You can't debate about it.
remember in high school we had like the TI 83s and 84s, those graphing calculators?
I forgot about those. Yeah.
Of course you did. You didn't like math.
Not at all.
There were so many inputs,
Yeah.
right? And there were so many buttons to press. But unless you actually
I'm
knew
actually
the
surprised
instrument-
that you learned how to use one. Go ahead.
That's crazy. If you didn't know how to use the inputs,
Yeah.
you didn't know what you were doing.
100%. You're
So
lost.
that is the same thing across the board with anything else. If you don't know how to use the remote control, you can read the manual.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes with a manual. I know we don't like to read.
No one does.
No
Open
one
up the
likes to
box.
read.
Try to build it. Whatever
right?
happens, happens.
Like I don't want to try to understand the information, right? I don't even know how the sausage is made. Just put it on my plate. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That is fine. No judgments. That's your preference. You can do whatever you want. However,
Right.
if you're not getting the desired result,
Mhm.
delegate.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people are just comfortable, right? Getting out of that comfort zone of just trying something different, I think is also a huge factor. They kind of just like satisfied with the result. Not really satisfied, but they don't want to do anything to change
You're
it.
content.
Yeah, they're just content, just complacent. It's like one of those things
So
where, like, whatever happens, happens. I'll just hope and pray.
So we do holistic planning,
Mhm.
right? Because everything is real time.
For sure.
Life happens.
Right.
Right. All those colloquialisms.
Mm-hmm.
If the why is big enough, the hows will appear.
Sure.
So I always encourage everyone that crosses paths with me. If your why is big enough, the hows will appear.
And what's the best way for them to get to their why?
I mean, you have to be conscious. You have to be
Right.
realistic. Everything that we're talking about, you can't not lift up the rug that you've been sweeping dirt underneath
For years,
for years,
hoping that there's nothing there.
right? You can't be nose blind. Like, oh no, it doesn't stink. No, it does. It smells.
Story of my life. Sorry, Mom.
Oh, that's disheartening. You can't do it.
Sure.
Right? You have to be forward facing
Mhm.
and growth mindset. Right? You have to look yourself in the mirror. You know, you could lie to me. You could lie to everyone else.
Right.
But it's hard to lie to yourself.
Absolutely.
Right?
Which is why people avoid looking in the mirror in the first place.
Correct. So
Yeah.
buy a mirror. Buy a mirror.
You should start selling mirrors, man.
We should start selling mirrors.
Definitely do it.
I don't know if there's a market because there's so many mirrors to be bought.
You figure it out.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, buy a mirror. You should write on it. Get a dry erase board or a dry erase marker.
Yeah.
Write on your mirror goals. Right. Believing is half the battle,
Mm-hmm.
and reiterating your goals is half the battle, and reminding yourself what's important either now or what we are shooting for later.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't miss it. A lot of people like to use vision boards. They do meditation,
Right.
right? They do, what do you call the thing when you write it and it's like a chant? What is that?
You write it and it's like a chant.
Yeah, like you're telling yourself repeatedly.
Oh, like a self-talk or like affirmations. There you go.
Affirmations.
Tony Robbins. Got it.
You gotta stop plugging.
That'd be all right. That'd be okay.
Okay, sure. So affirmations, right? There's so many things you can do.
But you have to give realistic affirmations, right? Like, for example, I can't say affirmation like one day I'm going to be 6 feet tall. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. So an affirmation, similar to our goal plan,
Right.
are realistic things that are actually achievable.
Sure.
Right. And the adage is,
Mm-hmm.
if you shoot for the moon, you'll land on a cloud. Or if you shoot for the clouds, you'll land on the moon. All that good stuff. That's cool. But ... So you kind of want to come up with realistic, attainable goals based upon your track.
Right.
If you're putting the work in. Right. And that's what it's about. It's not about dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's about putting in the work into something, and you will get an end result. If I do A for B, I should land at C.
Right.
Right. That would be your affirmation. And then you work backwards. So when we do our holistic planning across the board, not just like, talking about money and
Just life in general. Life.
You
Just
start
life.
with the actual end. You start with the omega. You start with the finish line.
Right.
And then you start to work back. Okay, well, how is this realistic? How is this attainable? I have this many hours of the day. I can give this much manpower to it. I should land at this spot in blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. So the first step, you think, pretty much is holding yourself accountable, writing the goals, right? It's like whenever someone comes into, the office and they're like, all right, they throw out a whole bunch of paperwork.
Correct.
Like, all right, so what can you do to tell me? It's like one of those situations where you're like, okay, how about we start with what it is that you want?
Correct.
Right? Like, what is that you're looking for? And then, like, how do we get there?
And also, more importantly, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Right? So I remember being, I was always a good learner.
Debatable. Go ahead.
I'm a sponge.
I don't know about that.
I wasn't
We'll
the
see.
best student, though.
Right.
Because I thought my time should be somewhere else. Yeah. Like, I didn't mind learning.
Right.
But the actual precipice of school.
Right.
That he tested. Like, no one likes going to school.
I agree.
No one likes going to work. Unless you love what you do. And even that gets cumbersome. Because sometimes
Absolutely.
you want to wake up and go, you know what?
I just want to sleep in today.
Yeah, why can't I just listen to ocean sounds on Google?
You're with the damn ocean, I swear.
I love ocean sounds.
Go ahead, finish it though. I hate the damn ocean.
I don't know where it's going because I started talking.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Useless.
Oceans. That's calming. It just brought me back to a centered spot.
You just lost brain cells. But you were saying about the person's why.
So now, first of all, I didn't lose brain cells. I took a break, so I'll have them later on for additional power.
All right.
So now, if you find your why, everything else makes sense.
Right.
Right. So why do we do what we do every day? It's not because someone else is telling us.
Mm-hmm.
I did not, similar to everyone else, did not like going to school.
Right.
But I understood it was a means to an end.
Sure, of course.
What would then the alternative? Not go to school? Live in my mom's basement? Can't do it. That's not realistic.
Right.
I love her, but I don't think we really get along. Love my mom.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to moms. They're necessary. They're necessary. So yeah, your why is important.
Yeah.
And that is where your conviction comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because those days when you want to tap out, you have to go back to your center. My center is the ocean. So my center is calmness, being concise, being emotionless, like the ocean. The ocean doesn't care about you.
No.
Right? And then when you start to think about how insignificant you actually are,
absolutely,
in the span of whatever, whomever, like it's, what is it, like it's like 10 billion people on the earth?
Something like that, yeah.
Like 1 out of 10 billion.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, you're not, dare I say, you're not special. There's so many just like you, right?
It's very true.
And this is, I don't know how old the earth is, but it's been here before civilization.
And we'll probably be after.
Right? You're so insignificant.
Yeah.
Right? So your why should be that conviction. Get over yourself. And that's what I learned from a lot of these successful individuals. Guys, if you want to learn to be fiscally focused, click the link below and follow us.